Salam Malaysia Madani. I'm Jessica Lee and you're watching Updates at Noon. Our leading stories for today. PM to not compromise in fight against corruption. KKD discussing plans to merge National Cybersecurity Agency and the Cybersecurity Malaysia. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said in no terms will he make compromises when it comes to saving the people from individuals who plunder the nation's wealth. Datuk Seri Anwar said he has instructed the government to save the country from leaders who enrich themselves by stealing from the nation's coffers and assets.
Ya. Saya bagi contoh banjir. Kita boleh jimat dan kita boleh buat 2 projek menyelamatkan puluh ribu orang di Johor, puluh ribu orang di Kelantan. Kerana kita hentikan amalan boros dan rasuah. Kita ambil sikap tegas, hentikan penyelewengan rasuah ini. Bulan Ramadan ada rasuah juga. Kita akan hentikan ini.
The Premier said this when launching the Semarak Tambun Cinta Al-Quran and breaking a fast event at the Al-Ittihadiyah Mosque in Manjoy, Perak last night. The Prime Minister also performed congregational Ishaq and Tarawih prayers at Gufran Mosque in Manjoy. The Tambun MP later mingled with other members of the congregation who joined him for Moreh before leaving the mosque at 9:55 p.m. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister reiterated his commitment to eradicate the hardcore poor in the country. He stressed that cooperation with the state government needs to be improved to ensure that the eradication process can be completed by the end of this year.
Saya tidak mahu ada nanti akhir tahun ada seorang atau satu atau 2 keluarga yang tak disentuh dalam masalah ini. Maka pegawai daerah ke ADO kan mesti jawab soalan ini. Ya, kalau tak ada dikesan orang yang miskin tegar, tak dibantu dan tak selesai masalah dia sebelum bulan Disember ini. Itu peringatan keras daripada saya.
The Ministry of Communications and Digital, or KKD, is discussing plans to merge the National Cybersecurity Agency, or NACSA, and Cybersecurity Malaysia, CSM, as a measure to strengthen cybersecurity in the country. Now, Minister Fahmi Fadzil said the merger of the 2 agencies would help with the setting up of the proposed Malaysian Cybersecurity Commission.
We are having quite deep discussions and quite advanced discussions about merging NACSA and Cybersecurity Malaysia, CSM, in order for us to move towards forming a National Cybersecurity Commission, Suruhanjaya Cybersecurity Malaysia. We are some ways away because we will have to bring a piece of legislation to Parliament. Kita belum lagi sampai ke peringkat di mana penubuhan itu boleh berlaku kerana kita perlu bawa undang-undang ke Parlimen. Tapi ini antara beberapa perkara yang kita lihat perlu kita lakukan untuk memastikan data rakyat selamat dan tidak boleh dicuri dan disalahguna untuk aktiviti-aktiviti skamer.
The minister said this after attending the Media Appreciation Night in Kuala Lumpur last night. Meanwhile, Fahmi reminded the public who want to withdraw money for Aidilfitri expenses to be careful if they receive any unknown or suspicious calls. On another matter, ahead of National Journalist Day, Hawana, which will be celebrated on the 28th of May in Ipoh, Perak, Fahmi said he wanted media representatives to have discussions among themselves about the future of the industry in this country. He has also asked his deputy, Tioni Ching, to review several policies to ensure the rights, welfare and freedom of the media are protected. Over 80,000 units of food baskets under Bakul Rahmah initiative have been collected so far. Domestic Trade and Cost of Living Minister Datuk Seri Salahuddin Ayub said a total of 40,000 food baskets have been distributed to the targeted group.
KPDN mensasarkan untuk fasa 2, kita akan dapat mencapai lebih kurang 130,000 isi rumah yang kalau kita dapat capai 130,000 bermaknanya 100% isi rumah yang dalam kategori miskin tegar ini telah dapat kita santuni untuk fasa yang kedua. Ini menjadi target KPDN bersama dengan rakan-rakan strategik kerana masih lagi terdapat peluang dan ruang untuk KPDN mengadakan libat urus.
Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Salahuddin has denied rumours of an increase in the price of imported meat in the market. The minister said thus far, goods under the price control of the KPDN, such as eggs, chicken and imported meat, have not experienced any price increase. He said that the price of local beef shows stability, which is RM37.96 per kilogram from November 2022 until now. However, Datuk Seri Salahuddin urged members of the public to file a complaint immediately in the event of an increase in the price of imported meat at any premise. He added that KPDN will also announce the festive season maximum price scheme in conjunction with Aidilfitri tomorrow. Coming up next, police confiscate over 300 kilos of heroin en route from Brisbane. The expatriate permit application process will be shortened from 87 days to 5 working days beginning June. Economy Minister Rafizi Ramli said the 5-day processing period was for new permit applications or permit renewal.
Keputusan dalam dua peringkat yang ada banyak jawatan kuasa apabila digabungkan dalam satu sistem dan boleh buat di sekaligus, dan yang itu yang sebenarnya boleh memotong daripada 87 hari kepada 5 hari sahaja.
Speaking after chairing the Special Task Force to Facilitate Business or Pemuda meeting in Putrajaya, Rafizi said companies that have good track record in terms of expatriate employment and compliance with the laws are eligible for the shortened application process. On the application process for planning permission or KM by the local authorities or PBT, Rafizi said Pemuda also agreed that it should be implemented with the best practices so that it can be within a short time range of at least 58 days. He said Pemuda also proposed that the federal government consider creating a competitive ecosystem where local authorities which show efficiency can be given due consideration while deciding on development allocations. Meanwhile, Rafizi said the Academy in Industry program would be introduced from June, targeting 100,000 workers in 10,000 companies to improve workers' skills to meet the industry's needs. Sharia Appeal Court Judge Dato' Muhammad Amran Mat Zain has been appointed Sharia Judiciary Department Malaysia or JKSM Director General and Sharia Chief Judge effective yesterday. The Minister in the Prime Minister's Department of Religious Affairs, Dato' Dr. Muhammad Naim Mokhtar, said Dato' Muhammad Amran, who joined the civil service in 1994, has 29 years of experience in the Sharia Officer Service Scheme.
Beliau hampir 29 tahun ni telah berkhidmat dalam berbagai jabatan di Jabatan Malaysia dan saya kira insyaAllah hari itu berat Zee akan meneruskan perjalanan Malaysia ini dan memimpin bahawa seluruh masyarakat ke arah kecemerlangan dan seperti mana yang saya sebut tadi
Dato' Muhammad Amran started as a Sharia officer at the Federal Territory Legal Aid Bureau and has served as a registrar at JKSM as well as a Federal Territory of Putrajaya Sharia Subordinate Court Judge. He holds a Master of Laws or LLM from International Islamic University Malaysia IIUM and a Bachelor of Sharia from University Malaya. The Department of Labour of Peninsular Malaysia, or JTKSM, raided an illegal premise that failed to adhere to the minimum standards of Housing, Accommodation and Employee Facilities Act 1990 and rescued 226 foreign workers in Bandar Baru Nilai yesterday. Now, Human Resources Minister V. Sivakumar said all of the workers, comprising Bangladeshi and Nepalese, and in their 20s to 40s, came into the country through foreign worker quotas approved for 3 cleaning companies and also a manufacturing company. He said they were placed temporarily at the transit accommodation premise about 40 days ago, and some of them have not yet found work as promised.
Yang ini saya bagi amaran keras lah kepada semua majikan-majikan yang berbuat sedemikian. Pihak Kementerian Sumber Manusia pastinya akan mengambil tindakan yang tegas. Tidak ada kompromi tentang hal ini.
Following the raid, Sivakumar said 4 investigation papers were opened in accordance with Section 24D of Act 446 against 4 employers involved in the case. The Royal Malaysia Police, or PDRM, confirmed that the Australian authorities have succeeded in confiscating 336 kilograms of heroin brought in via a container via Brisbane from Malaysia on the 13th of March. Now, PDRM Secretary Dato' Norsia Muhammad Saaduddin said the drugs were estimated to be worth 268.8 million Australian dollars, or about 789.56 million ringgit. In a statement issued last night, she said Bukit Aman Narcotics CID is conducting an investigation based on the information received from Australian Federal Police, or AFP, before taking further action. AFP, in a statement last week, announced that the Australian Border Force, or ABF, detected the drugs hidden in 2 concrete blocks of cement, each weighing 500 kilograms. According to the statement, an inspection found the consignment was declared as solar panels in the container, which arrived on the 13th of March at Brisbane Port from Malaysia. The statement said ABF officers inspected the container and detected hundreds of packages hidden in the cement concrete blocks, and test results on the substance in the packages confirm it was heroin. Front, massive leak of highly sensitive documents online risks U.S. national security. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un called for strengthening of the country's war deterrence in a more practical and offensive manner to counter what it called moves of aggression by the U.S. and South Korea. State media reported that Kim made the comment at an enlarged meeting of the Central Military Commission held on Monday to discuss ongoing efforts to boost the country's war deterrent to cope with the escalating moves of the U.S. imperialists and the South Korean perpetrators to unleash a war of aggression. Now, North Korea has been reacting angrily to a recent series of the allies' joint military exercises, which KCNA said were intended to prepare for an all-out war and force Pyongyang to explore powerful practical action, including military options. Kim ordered further reinforcing the country's war deterrence with increasing speed and in a more practical and offensive manner. Now, the apparent leak of highly sensitive U.S. documents, many of them related to the Ukraine conflict, presents a very serious risk to U.S. national security. Now, the breach is being investigated by the Justice Department and appears to include secret information on the war in Ukraine, as well as sensitive analysis of U.S. allies. Chris Meagher, the assistant to the Secretary of Defence for Public Affairs, said the documents circulating online pose a very serious risk to national security and have the potential to spread disinformation. He added the department still investigating how this happened as well as the scope of the issue. A steady drip of dozens of photographs of documents have been found on Twitter, Telegram, Discord and other sites in recent days, though some may have circulated online for weeks, if not months, before they began to receive media attention last week. Many of them are no longer available on the sites where they first appeared, and the United States is reportedly continuing to work to have them removed. Many of the documents relate to Ukraine, such as one that provides information on the country's air defenses or another on international efforts to build up its military forces. U.S. officials have been in touch with Washington's international allies about the issue. Meagher declined to comment on whether the documents are genuine, saying a Pentagon team is working to make that assessment, but noted that images circulating online seem to show sensitive information. The fallout from the apparent leak could be significant, even deadly, potentially putting U.S. intelligence sources at risk while giving the country's foes valuable information. 4 people have been killed and at least 8 others were hospitalized following a downtown shooting in the U.S. city of Louisville, Kentucky. A Louisville police spokesman told a media briefing that a police officer was among the injured, while the department tweeted separately that the suspected shooter has been neutralized. According to the spokesman, the suspect is believed to be an ex-employee at the Old National Bank in Louisville, the largest city in the southern state. Louisville Police Deputy Chief Paul Humphrey said calls had come in around 8:30 a.m. local time for an active aggressor, and the officers were on the scene within minutes. At the scene, officers encountered the suspect almost immediately, still firing gunshots while broadcasting live video of his attack over the internet. Now, officers opened fire at the gunman, who was armed with a rifle, and neutralized him. The department identified the shooter as Connor Sturgeon, 23, who joined a downtown branch of the Old National Bank as a full-time employee last year. Police identified the dead as Joshua Barrick, 40, Thomas Elliott, 63, Juliana Farmer, 45, and James Tutt, 64. The 9 people wounded in the attack were treated at the University of Louisville Hospital, including 2 police officers. One of the officers, a 26-year-old recent police academy graduate, was struck in the head and remained in critical condition after brain surgery. 2 other victims were also in critical condition. In response to the Louisville bank attack, President Joe Biden once again reiterated his wish that Congress pass legislation requiring safe storage of firearms, background checks for all gun sales, and elimination of gun manufacturers' immunity from liability. Northern Ireland on Monday marked the 25th anniversary of its landmark 1998 peace accords. But the fragility of the province's truce was underlined as masked youths pelted police vehicles with petrol bombs during sectarian disorder. Now, no major public events are planned for the day itself, but British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and US President Joe Biden will arrive on Tuesday to launch several days of high-profile commemorations. The territory has been reshaped since pro-UK unionist and pro-Irish nationalist leaders struck an unlikely peace deal on the 10th of April 1998, Easter Good Friday, following marathon negotiations. But the province has recently become mired in political dysfunction and security concerns that threatens to overshadow that milestone. Underlining the threat, police vehicles were pelted with projectiles, including petrol bombs, during an illegal dissident Republic March in Londonderry on the eve of Biden's visit. The Police Service of Northern Ireland, or PSNI, said no injuries have been reported so far. However, they appeal for calm. Officials last week warned of strong intelligence that dissidents were planning attacks against officers in the city on Monday. Continue losing streak City collect 3 points. Stay with us.
The number of malicious and false statements spread by SMS or social media platforms have become too widespread. The public is advised to be careful and not fall for such ploys and sharing or forwarding such messages. Remember that spreading fake news is an offence under Section 233 of the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998. This carries a penalty of a fine not exceeding 50,000 ringgit or up to 1 year imprisonment or both upon conviction.
We begin sports segment with news on local football scene. A misfortune continues to plague Perak FC as they slumped to a 1-0 defeat against Kuala Lumpur City FC or KL City in a Super League game at the Kuala Lumpur Football Stadium last night. Both teams started with even exchanges, but they failed to break the deadlock in early minutes of the match. The City Boys squad then led the Boscaros in first half injury time through Sebastian Avanzini, who headed the ball into the opponent's goal after receiving a pass from naturalized player Paolo Gesui, who was awarded a free kick by the referee. In the second half of the match, both teams tried to score in an effort to collect 3 valuable points. However, the City Boys hung on to the slender lead till the final whistle, even after S. Tirumurugan was dismissed in the 64th minute after receiving a second yellow card. The victory won by Boyan Hodak's men gave them the advantage to climb 2 ranks to the 8th position in the league after receiving 3 points. KL City coach Boyan Hodak attributed the victory against Perak to hard work and discipline shown by his players.
I said before it will be a tough match. The young team that can run a lot and they're working very hard, not easy versus them to score goals. We have a few chances.
Meanwhile, Perak coach Datuk Lim Tiong Kim praised the commitment by his boys despite falling short in the match.
Filosofi kita adalah memberi pemain-pemain muda untuk bermain dan mereka bermain dengan baik, bukan setakat dia main baik.
Meanwhile, the match that took place at Darul Makmur Stadium in Kuantan, Pahang saw Sri Pahang FC picked up a narrow 1-0 victory over Kelantan United FC. The first half saw both teams went back and forth in intense fashion. However, they failed to break the deadlock until the end of the first half. After the break, the home team redoubled their efforts to pile on pressure to Kelantan United, unleashing barrages of attacks. The score remained tie into the injury time when Stefano Brundo scored a late goal through a pass from teammate Nur Azam Azeh. The 1-0 score in favour of the Elephants remained until the final whistle was blown. With the win, Sri Pahang FC took over the third spot from Kedah in the standings with 16 points, while Kelantan United with only 2 points placed 14th in the league. Moving on to European football news, Bayern Munich head coach Thomas Tuchel said he is still earning the trust of his new squad, but that past successes against their Champions League rivals, Manchester City, may earn him some extra points. When asked if his success against City in the 2021 Champions League final with Chelsea would lead his new squad to trust his ideas a bit more, the German said it couldn't hurt. However, he still needed to earn their confidence.
Yes, yeah, maybe. Maybe they believe a little bit more, yes. But you have to earn you have to earn your trust. I have to earn my trust, and I have to earn the confidence of the players. every day, every single day, especially when you step into a new dressing room. And so this is the situation right now. We did not mention this final with one word, and I will not do it. That would feel very awkward for me when to do this. We focus now on our team.
Tuchel took charge of Bayern last month following the sacking of Julian Nagelsmann and has had little time to prepare for their Champions League quarter-final first leg game tomorrow. Now, the new boss said one element he did not face in the 2021 final was City's Norwegian striker Erling Haaland. Meanwhile, City's manager Pep Guardiola admitted that his side had been hunting for Champions League title for a while. However, he admitted that desire alone would not help them to lift the trophy.
We tried last season, we tried 2 seasons ago, we tried 3 seasons ago, every single season, but there are teams that you face that also they are good too and they want to win it too. And my ambitions, I don't know the ambitions in their own lives, and every one of you, the people around the world, ambitions to be perfect in everywhere. So
Guardiola has won 4 Premier League titles, 1 FA Cup and 4 League Cups at City. But European success has eluded the manager who won the trophy twice as Barcelona manager. Now, under the Spanish manager, City have reached the quarterfinals of the Champions League for 6 straight seasons, with the English club's best finish being runners-up in 2021. In tennis, former champion Stan Wawrinka rolled back the years to outlast Talon Griekspoor 5-7, 6-3, 6-4 and reached the Monte Carlo Masters second round. Wawrinka looked in danger of falling in his opener for a second straight year after losing a tight opening set. But the 38-year-old found a way back into the match by dominating the second and grabbed an early break in the decider. Up next for the 3 times Grand Slam champion is world number 10, Taylor Fritz of the United States. Meanwhile, Andy Murray's first appearance in the tournament since 2017 ended in a loss to Alex de Minaur. Now, Murray gained direct entry into the prestigious tournament after several players, including world number 2 Carlos Alcaraz and 11 times champion Rafael Nadal, withdrew due to injuries. But the former world number 1 endured a torrid time in a rare appearance in a clay court tournament due to hip injuries as he lost 6-1, 6-3 to Australian de Minaur in 86 minutes. Former US Open champion Dominic Thiem beat French veteran Richard Gasquet 6-1, 6-4 as the Austrian looks to revive his career following his slide out of the top 300 due to a wrist injury. Thiem, now ranked 106th in the world, had split with coach Nicolas Massou before the tournament, ending a partnership that lasted more than 4 years. But the 29-year-old looked like he was slowly getting back to his vintage best as the clay court specialist won 5 games in a row at one stage, while he did not face a single break point in the match. The victory, sealed with his 6th ace in the contest, also marked Thiem's first at a Masters tournament since Rome in 2021, weeks before the wrist injury that sidelined him for 9 months. Now, Thiem will next play Danish 19-year-old Holger Rune, who is ranked 9th in the world. And that's it for updates at noon. Our leading story today: Prime Minister will not compromise in fight against corruption to save people from corrupt leaders. And don't forget to watch Malaysia Tonight at 8:30 p.m. on saluran Berita RTM, or you can stream it via RTM's website and mobile app. Till then, I'm Jessica Lee. Goodbye for now and have a wonderful day.